Hey, welcome to another episode of It Resolves. My name is Kevin.
I'm Will.
And we just got done laughing.
We did. We talked about something silly.
That we can't talk about on this show.
Poop jokes and magic.
Yep. Welcome to the Filler Fun Day. We are really excited about today's episode. Hopefully for the new players, it's a little helpful. For the veterans of Magic, this may be a bit of a recap, but
Definitely.
it's always something to think about when you're building decks and things like that. But we've got a little. We need your help.
We do. We wanna know who you are.
We do.
Sorta. No, but we do. We wanna know who's listening, where from, what you like about Magic, what you don't like about Magic, what you don't like about us. Maybe even
All of the above.
You can find us a lot of places. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Twitch. Did I say YouTube? You can find us on YouTube. We are all over the place. You can even subscribe to us on the podcast app.
Correct.
For iUsers. Are we trying to do anything with Android?
Yeah, we're working to get ourselves into the Podcast Addict store.
Yes.
So we're working on that. And hopefully that'll be out soon. But either way, you can find us basically anywhere. So we encourage you to check us out. If you like what you hear, if you like what you see, which is our logo only.
For now.
We'd appreciate a follow or a subscribe or even just some feedback. Let us know what we're doing right. Let us know what we're doing wrong and what we can improve on.
Definitely.
So with that out of the way,
Yeah.
we've got my favorite segment.
Drum roll, please. The
Kiki Weekly. That was weird.
Yeah,
That was not planned or good.
It's always good. Never planned.
This Kiki Weekly of the week is brought to us by who, Will?
Proxy the Goat from
Proxy
YouTube.
the Goat. You
A
know
great
who you are.
person.
You're the man.
An awesome person who likes people. Well, sorta.
Apparently everybody likes people. According to Will, that's the case.
Not everybody.
Oh,
People I won't mention.
because they don't like me.
Right, I guess. I don't know.
Because I'm a people.
I guess we wouldn't talk about them if they weren't awesome
We're getting so
people.
off track. All right, Kiki Weekly.
It's a Sunday show. We can do that.
By
It's the
Proxy
day
the
off.
Goat has given us a suggestion, so we thought we'd take it and talk to you about the approach of the Second Sun and Fork combo.
I had not thought about this, but this is awesome.
This is actually, the way he described it, it's approach along with any copy spell, so there are a lot of options
Yep.
for this. But Fork just happens to be one that we picked and that we feel is probably a little bit easier than some of the others.
Yeah.
Approach to the Second Sun is, I believe, 6 and a white.
I think
Or something like that. Basically, if you cast it, if you haven't played it already in this game, you gain 7 life and put it 7 cards from the top of your deck. If you have played it already this game, you win the game as you play Approach to the Second Sun.
So, do you see the line?
Do you see the line? Fork says for 2 red, you can copy any instant or sorcery speed spell and play it again.
Yeah.
Choose new targets if you want. Doesn't matter because it's your second one, which means you win.
Yeah, done.
So-
that's it.
Yeah, it's an instant win. It's really, really cool. I don't know how viable this is. Obviously, it wouldn't be. I mean, Fork's not in standard, so it has to be somewhere else. But it would be a
course.
really fun, maybe
Oh, it's
commander or
awesome.
something like that.
Heck yeah.
Really cool little combo that we liked.
Yeah.
Thought it was a good suggestion. We want to hear what you guys have come up with this. So if you come up with a brew where you can use this, let us know. Give
Yeah.
us a deck list.
I'd love to flex
I'd
its
love to
muscles.
try this.
To just
So-
try. I love that Magic is like the only quote-unquote board-esque game
Yeah.
that's got like, hey, here's how you win the game. Oh, and also you could just win the game.
Yeah, I love that about Magic. As someone a long time ago described to me, you can break every rule in Magic just by playing Magic. And I think that's
Yeah.
really, really cool because,
That's sweet.
I mean, you look at a simple example, you only draw 1 card per turn. If you're playing blue, no, you don't. You draw a lot of cards.
That's right. The
And-
rules are on the cards in Magic. That's great.
Yeah, I really like that about Magic, so you can break it a little bit. But that's our Kiki Weekly out of the way.
That's a fun
I really
one.
like that
I had
one.
not thought about that.
It's just a random one. I think it's time sensitive with
love it.
approach being in standard right now
I love it.
with the new perspectives deck, which is another Kiki Weekly. No, it's not. That's a really bad one.
Definitely not. We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
No, we didn't. Friday. Sorry. Friday. All right, Kev.
Yep.
What do we got today?
Well, with the main topic today, again, this is our filler fun day where we just kind of talk about whatever we see fit.
You are right.
You guys don't get to choose. Deal with it. No, that's not the case. If you guys actually have a topic, suggest it because we'd be happy to talk about it. But
we like doing homework here.
We do.
If it's magic related, not essays or stuff.
For today, we thought we'd just talk about one of the most probably talked about topics in Magic, and it's just the 5 colors. We want to talk about the color pie.
The building blocks of Magic.
The building blocks. What's good? What does each color do? When you're new to Magic, it's really cool to just go with your favorite color.
Yeah, definitely. If it's one of the 5, I guess.
If it's one of the 5, yeah. But what's the easiest color to start with and why? Maybe you need to branch into a new one. Maybe you're an intermediate player and you're sort of getting past that first stage of learning and you want to jump into something a little more complicated. What color would suit you more for that? Or just your personality type. You like big dudes? Play the big dudes color.
Green.
Which I think is a good place to start.
Sure. Okay. You gonna start with green?
Yeah, let's start with green.
Awesome. My favorite thing about green is what Kevin just said. It's got the biggest dudes. When you want a color that wants a big thing to just flop on the board and start wrecking face,
Yep.
it's green.
It is green.
You know, stuff that comes to mind are literally any of the Hydras. The Hydras get on the board for as much as you can give them, and they're like, all right, thanks, I gotta go. And then they just go and destroy everything. Hydras are fantastic.
Yes.
Let's see. What else does green get that's biggest? Trample is most prominent
Trample's
in
the
green,
most prominent mechanic, yeah.
which is like flavorful
Oh, yeah.
for giant stompy things.
You look at most formats, and there's a green ramp stompy deck somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Which does bring me into the other point of green, which is ramp.
Oh, yeah.
Things like Birds of Paradise, Sylvan Caryatid, all the Mana Dork elves, of which there are quite a few.
Quite a few, and Magic
Fyndhorn
would
elves,
not be the same
Elvish
without
Mystic,
them.
No, we need elves. But it ramps, right? Like the idea is to get to those big stompy guys. So if you're playing a mono green deck, more than likely your win con will be the very big stompy guys, and a lot of your other cards are just going to be the little Mana Dorks.
Yeah.
That get you to those big guys very quickly.
I would imagine. And if not, it's a sorcery that gets you mana.
Yeah.
Fetches a land.
Rampant growth, something like that. It's, as far as, the storyline goes, I guess I would say, green is generally about nature and growth and unleashing your potential sort of a thing, which is also sort of a red mechanic. But
Reinvent yourself.
we'll get into that. Yeah. It's all about nature, big stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody's awesome. I really like green. I don't play it often.
You do not. But green is like, no one doesn't like green.
No.
You know? It's like,
you can't really hate too much on green. It's just big stuff.
Yeah, it's your little brother that grew 3 feet taller than you, of which mine did. My little brother's gigantic. I'm not. I'm 5'11". He's like 6'5". I don't know.
Wow.
He's nuts. I can't. I don't get it.
He
is a tree.
He is a tree.
He's green.
He's green.
It's great.
What a great ending. I think we'll move into white.
All right, white.
Which,
let's see.
Go ahead. You give me your inclination on white.
So my first instinct of white is like a snooty knight, like on top.
Are we
of its
personifying
with,
all of the colors? By the way,
all that I
First of all, green is your brother.
Right.
That's the personification.
Green,
of
my brother, the tree. White, basically. I don't really know.
I'll answer.
Please
it's
do.
a bunch
I'm
of
not
little
sure.
guys that help each other. It's also about following rules.
Yeah,
so,
that's definitely it. They don't get more card draw, really.
No, there's not a lot of that. There's a lot of like the cards you'll see are generally like small creatures that pump each other up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like pacifism effects. If you don't know what that means, it's like they can't attack or block and their abilities can't be activated.
Oh yeah.
It's not like 1-for-1 removal, but it's like enchantment hate sort of thing where it's like I'm gonna put this on your creature so it can't do anything, but there's still the potential you could remove that.
That's great. Yeah, it is all about rules.
Yeah.
You're right.
You also get a few flyers in there, but the main mechanic is generally something like First Strike or Vigilance.
Yeah, I'll say Vigilance is most prominent in white.
I would say so. It's a very go wide strategy, I would say.
Okay. Yeah,
it's fairly easy to play.
Yeah, White Weenies is prominent in a few formats. I won't say, well, let me not say prominent, but it's not uncommon to see a White Weenie here or there.
Absolutely. It is a very competitively viable color in the form of white weenies. You get a lot of cards like Thalia, things like that, which
Oh yeah, Thalia's
just
great.
basically nerf the spells decks.
Yeah,
That's
true.
what they're trying to do.
That's true. Classic white cards. You said pacifism. That's true.
Path to Exile.
Definitely. The White Knight with protection from black.
Right.
2/2 for 2 and first strike, I think. I mean, that's boom.
Yep.
That's it.
Also Griffins.
Griffins,
Notably.
the god cards. The best cards in Magic.
This is such a bad running joke that we've got going.
Look, you brought it up.
You
and
started this.
I made it. No, yeah, okay.
You started it years ago when you made a terrible Griffin tribal deck.
Yeah, it's never
But
been
it
good.
is, the color is generally, again, in sort of the lore aspect, it's more about like purity and honor and doing the right thing and helping each other out. It's about the rules. Is really what white amounts to.
That's fair.
It's a very cool, you get a lot of humans and stuff like that buff each other in this. So it's the more human based color, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
Can you personify it for us?
Can I
Even though I just said it's a human based thing.
no, I sure I can.
All right.
So white is, I was going into it. It's like that snooty.
Oh, I know who it is.
Just okay.
I just realized it's Ellen DeGeneres.
You stop it.
She helps everybody. She's a delight.
Yeah, but people like her. She's not boring.
People like white. You can't really hate too much on white. It's just like, hey, I'm just gonna do good
It's just
things.
like, it's literally like mayonnaise. It's just like eh.
So it's
like-
Ellen DeGeneres or a mayonnaise with a face. A jar of mayonnaise with a face.
I mean, really though, it's like I'm gonna make or break this sandwich. Either it's gonna be a best edition or like, nah, why am I here? Hold the
This
mayonnaise.
is just degrading. Anyway, I think we will move
don't you
on
insult
to
Ellen. Not in my presence.
We're gonna save my favorite color for last. We're gonna go with red next,
All right.
which is like the easiest color to pilot, I think.
Definitely. Red is a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
Red is like the jock. I mean, easy to say it.
Wait, really? That's what you think of?
Totally. The gigantic like I don't know, class clown like, I'm just here to play football and
Okay.
date ladies. I'm red.
Date ladies.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what red does.
Okay.
Plays football and dates ladies.
Yeah. Anyway, so what red actually does is
Wow.
it plays a lot of cards like goblins, things like that. The quick attackers get in there for a couple damage, probably die the next turn. Doesn't really matter. It gets a lot of burn.
Yeah, jocks don't really matter. You heard it here first.
It gets a lot of burn, things like lightning bolt, which is like the most famous burn spell in Magic. Magma spray in standard right now. Harness lightning is another one.
That's great.
A lot of things like that. Its core mechanic is haste usually, I believe. Which
like,
just
first
lets you
strike and
swing
stuff.
in immediately. It lets you tap it immediately the turn you play it. Goblin Guide is one of the most notable creatures and one of the best creatures, along with Monastery Swift Spear, which is a great
Prowess
one.
1/2.
Um,
Awesome.
Again, with haste.
Yeah.
But Goblin's Tribal really shines. You can get a Siege Gang Commander, a Beetle Whack Chief, Goblin Guide, things like that. And get a really, really cool go wide strategy. Goblin Pile Driver is really good.
Okay, so how's it different than white? Tell me that, Kevin.
How's it different than white? It's
Tell
a
me that.
lot more reckless.
I like it.
It's a lot
That's
more
right.
1-for-1 kills. You sort of in white. There's the buffing your own creatures.
Okay.
As far as red goes, it's just I'm just gonna swing in with a bunch of stuff. I don't really care how strong they are. As long as I get a couple points of damage, I'm doing the right thing.
That's fair.
The running joke with red being just play cards and turn them sideways. It's kind of the end all be all with with red.
Generally, I mean, it's a really simple way to say it. Yeah. Red got card draw a while back in M13.
Sort of.
It loots.
It's not even called looting. It's called something else technically, but I don't remember what. Because you discard first and then draw.
Oh, you're right. So it's I don't know, the Goblin Lottery. We'll say that.
It's the Goblin Lottery.
I forgot what
That's all it is.
I forgot what it's called. No, you're right. You do discard first.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Usually.
it's reckless. It's just kind of dumb and there to be stompy.
It's there to be attacking. That's all it is. It's a really good color. It funny enough also makes its way into control decks in the form of burn, not so much
Usually,
with the creatures,
usually.
but burn does a really good job in control decks, so it does have that
That's
going
true.
for it. But it is just like, let's just bolt them, let's kill a guy, let's shoot them in the face with
Yeah.
it. Like, it's just reckless. The lore aspect of it is, again, unleashing potential is sort of this one.
Passion,
just go for it.
reckless abandon, feel your emotions, and use
It's
them to
all
hurt
about
people.
that. It's a cool color. It's an easy one to start on along with green, I would
Definitely.
say. And white really isn't too terrible either. It's not
yeah.
so controlling,
No.
but it's a little more on the intermediate side, I would say, in the very beginning of the game.
Yeah.
But red's probably a good place to start.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Why don't you start us on black?
Black. All right. What is black?
That's a color.
Oh, thanks, Kev.
I got you, man.
So black is that kid in school, the bad boy who's got like all the ins.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, I'll get you some alcohol. You gotta pay me for it, right?
Okay.
It's like I know the answer to the question, to the test. Just gotta give me something for it.
I like that.
You know?
I like that personification. It's the color where you do anything to win, even if it means hurting yourself.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
like, I'm gonna pay some life to kill your guy, or
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay some life to draw a card, or I'm gonna sack a creature, but you're gonna have to sack 2 creatures.
Yeah.
It's like, it's that like, I'm getting a bad effect, but it's worse for you, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
It's like that douche in class
Yes.
that's like, hey, we're all going down, but you guys are going down harder than me.
He's the guy that's like, hey, you didn't talk about the homework.
Yes.
Like right at the end of class.
That's perfect. It's that guy. That's the black player.
He's like, he didn't do it, but neither did you. So you're like, ah, but he's still passing.
Yes, it's that guy. It's a fairly controlling color.
It is, yeah.
It's got a lot of zombies is sort of the idea as far as creatures go with it.
Sure. Vampires, really.
Vampires, nightmare stuff used to be a thing.
I really like black. It to me is the most flavorful.
Yeah.
In that, you already know like horrors. All right, demons. Demons are my favorite.
Yeah.
And demons really personify black the best, I think, in that
I think so.
most of them you don't get to play for free. Some of them you have to shrink your guys. Some of them you have to sack a creature every upkeep phase. But you get a 7/7 flyer. How
like
could you
nothing.
not like it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have forever wanted to make a only demon deck. And
Never done it.
no, you just can't.
No, you can't.
Because you die to your own things.
That is a thing.
It's a bummer, but they're the most fun to me.
Yeah.
I like demons and griffins, guys. That's it.
Its removal package is generally in the form of sacking creatures, not so much destroying them.
Or like withering things. Like
Or
shrinking
withering,
them.
yeah, like Grasp of Darkness or Dismember.
Dismember, yeah. comes
Is
to
a
mind.
classic one. But it also has things like Chainer's Edict, which gets around things like Hexproof
Yep.
or Indestructible, things like that.
Yep.
So a very cool controlling color that, as we said, is the douche in the back of the classroom that nobody wants to hang with.
That asks about the homework.
No,
I
we're
like
describing these in such a cynical way.
We really are. I love black, though.
I do too, actually.
I hung out with that kid. I
Yeah.
was that kid, I guess. I
I
don't know.
might have been that kid, but
You're
it is
still
a
that
more it is a more I would say upper end level as far as playing, because you really have to balance the negative with the positive
Yeah.
as far as the card draw, as far as just the card value goes. So it's a little more complicated than something like a red or green where it's just play some guys and attack. It is a very good color. I love it. Probably my second favorite.
Okay. I can see that.
But my first, is blue. I love blue.
I'm shocked.
No,
blue is great.
Yeah, blue's pretty great.
We had an episode dedicated to blue.
We did, because notoriously it's the best color in Magic.
No, it is the best color, not
it is the
notoriously.
best. Well,
hands down.
It is also the hardest to play. It's generally about like permissions and card draw.
Yeah.
It's saying yes or no to what the opponent is doing, and then drawing more cards so they can keep saying yes or no.
Until they just get to say, "Do I win?"
Yeah. That's like the most heart-dropping thing in Magic is when you're against a control deck and you know it's not going well, but you're like, well, maybe I got a couple more turns.
Yeah.
And then they lay out their next card and they say, okay, do I win? And you're like, that moment where you realize they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so terrible.
You've still got a few life, but like you're looking at a flyer or maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And like your board has been, maybe your creatures never touched the board.
Yeah,
You're like,
which is more than likely the case.
Yeah, I guess you win. Okay.
It's got a lot of counter spells, things
Mm-hmm.
like cancel, terrible counter spell, but it's got things like Mana Leak,
I mean, you
Cryptic
need it in a
Command,
draft, though.
Force of Will.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the best, the best counter probably.
Definitely.
It's got a lot of card draw, things like Preordain, Brainstorm,
Mm.
one of the notorious cards in Magic. More recent card draw spells, Pull from Tomorrow is a
Anticipate.
good one. Anticipate.
That's been in there.
A lot of conditional draw.
Yeah.
But it's a very cool color. It's the best because it generally goes around permissions and sort of says no, you can't play that.
Well, I think it's the best because it also gets to do everything, right?
That's
like,
true.
Blue is not the aggro color. Let's just print Delver of Secrets and hope no one notices. Like,
That's very true.
well, let's just give this 7/11 Leviathan Island Walk,
No big deal.
and then a spell that turns lands into islands.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Blue's about control.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, like, most notably you see it as control, but then there's, like, Merfolk, there's Delver, like you said.
Yeah.
Like, it really does kind of get to do everything. And it does it well. And it also has Jace the Mind Sculptor, so you win.
Yeah, that's true.
Also,
Are you gonna say Jace is the best card of Magic? Do you think so?
no, I don't think it's the best card in Magic.
Okay.
But it's
Okay.
by far the best Planeswalker. Maybe not by far, but by a decent amount.
Okay.
It's also worth noting the Power 9, the only non-artifact cards are blue cards.
For a reason. Not really a
yeah.
reason, but I mean, they just happen
Just
to be.
because they're good.
Weird.
And obviously that doesn't affect a lot of players, but like the players that it does, it makes a big difference.
Totally.
It also gets some more complicated mechanics, things like Storm, and things like that.
but red gets that too.
Red does too, but I mean, you kind of have to play blue to play Storm.
Whoa, whoa.
Am I wrong? Please tell me if I am.
I think at its best, but you can totally just play a grape shot win con deck in mono red.
But it wouldn't go well. How are you gonna? I mean, you ritual into it, but like,
Yeah.
where's
You
your
can-
card draw coming from? Faithless Looting?
Yeah, you can just get stuff with flashback, man.
I feel like it wouldn't be good. If you make that deck, I'll make a regular Storm deck. We'll see
Okay.
who wins.
I think the Storm
Next week on Filler Fun Day.
I think the the link you linked me. The turn 2 Storm win. He played like mostly red.
But not all red.
But
Anyway.
mostly red. He got his mana, he got his spells back with red cards. Like, he did most
I don't know
things
what you're
with
talking
red.
about. Anyway,
I'll show it to you so you'll remember. He got like out a million goblin tokens and then just drew grape shot and he was like, well, oh, okay, I'll just use this. And won.
he did.
And he said some swears that I can't say on our show because we've
This is a
chosen.
family-friendly show.
That's right.
Except I think you might have said a wordy dirt at one point. Anyway,
Yeah, well, I didn't say douche.
Blue is that nerdy kid that knows all these random facts and likes to tell them to you.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. When people are like, spiders are my least favorite bug, Blue is like, actually, they're arachnids.
That's so true.
Doesn't that change your life?
Yeah, that perfectly describes a blue player, which I am, but like I feel it on both ends that
Yeah.
we're nerds, but blue players, we gotta unite and be awesome.
Don't unite. You'd
We
never
gotta
get
unite.
along.
We just up each other with facts.
Definitely.
But it is my favorite color. It's the most complicated generally to play, so it's not necessarily one you want to start on. But if you are looking for a more complicated way to play, and hopefully a more fun way to play, or just a different way in general, it's a good place to go. What do you? Oh yeah. We how nice that you wrote this down and just showed me in like the most nonchalant way ever.
I didn't want to say it if you didn't want to do it.
No, I think we're gonna talk really quickly about the Ravnica guilds.
Yeah! Ravnica's my favorite! Ravnica's my favorite!
It's basically all of the 2-color combos. So green, red,
Yes.
green, blue, etc.
It's where you get the words like, is it Azorius,
Right.
Orzhov, Gruul.
Yeah,
I could go on, and we will.
yeah. We'll talk about each one. What do you want to start with?
We started with green, so why don't we do Selesnya first? Green,
Okay.
white, green, white.
Tell me about Selesnya. It's
So-
elephants.
I mean, yeah. Selesnya is awesome. When they were designing Ravnica, they combined the elements of each of the colors in the pairs to kind of make this end amalgamation of thing, whatever.
Yeah.
So with green white, you get the tokens, right? You get all these little dudes, and then you get big guys and make more tokens.
Yep.
I don't know. That's a really simple way to say it, but like you get what's a good example? What was their latest mechanic in return? It was
what was the name of it?
Kev.
I feel bad now.
I wanted to say
Populate.
That's it. I was gonna say
Couldn't think of it.
proliferate. That's definitely not
Nope.
it. So yeah, some worm. I don't remember the name, but you make this big 4/4 worm.
Advent of the worm.
No, the creature.
Oh, okay.
Siege worm, maybe? I don't remember.
Sure.
But it's a big 5/5. You play it and then populate.
Yeah.
So it's nuts.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's great.
I actually really like Selesnya. Again, I've talked about this before. I have a green, white, good stuff modern deck.
Yeah.
I really like it. It's got stuff like Loxodon Smiter, which is just a 4/4 beater. It's just a strong color.
Totally.
It's very much play some stuff, big stuff, and swing in and do a bunch of damage. And I love that, actually.
Oh, yeah.
It's not my
fantastic.
norm, but I do love it.
Beaters and
Quite a lot.
Yeah, and I mean it plays to white too, where it gets things like Selesnya Charm. It says Exile.
Yep.
Something that's too big, that's too unfair.
Yeah.
I think it's like Power 4 or greater, maybe.
Something like that.
Something stupid.
Something like that. But yeah, I really like Selesnya. It's a good color combo.
Okay.
We'll move on to green blue,
Green
which
blue.
is Simic.
Simic is one of my favorites.
It's an interesting one. The latest mechanic being Evolve, I believe.
Yep, that's it.
Where you basically everything builds on each other. So you can play a really terrible creature, but then as you play more creatures, they get +1/+1 counters.
You play bigger creatures.
Yeah, you play
better
bigger creatures. And so they all sort of buff each other in this really weird way,
Yeah.
in a permanent way, and that it's sort of on the beatdown plan as well. But because
Definitely.
it's in blue, you get a little bit of the card draw, you get a little bit of the interaction, but you still get the great sort of end game beaters of green.
Yeah, I love that. Simic is also really flavorful. They're all about like evolving the perfect creature, making them even stronger. So you get things like Bioshift, which you get to move these counters around different creatures, which is super fun. You get like a Simic incubation something. I don't remember. But you basically you make a creature really big, and then you can bounce this enchantment back to your hand and put it on
then
another
make
creature.
another creature big.
It's just fun stuff like that. You think
It's
about
cool.
like biomanipulation.
Yeah. Weird, right?
Nerds and big stuff.
I think the original mechanic was Graft
Yes.
for Simic, which basically was similar in that it buffed a bunch of stuff. But I think the Evolve mechanic is a lot better. Experiment 1 being one of the more popular Evolve cards because it starts off very, very small, but it only costs 1. And so as you play bigger stuff, you get to pump it permanently, which is great. And it sees some play in Naya?
Yeah, and a
wanna
lot of
say-
zoo stuff.
A lot of zoo decks because you'll get to buff it late in game. So a very, very cool color combo. The next one's one of my favorites.
Okay, talk to me.
Green black.
Oh yes.
I really, really like this color
Golgari.
combo. Golgari. The newest mechanic was Scavenge. The original mechanic was Dredge, which is amazing.
Yes, absolutely.
We've talked about Dredge before. It was broken, and still
a little
is.
bit.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Scavenge not so broken. It's kind of not that great. It's not my favorite mechanic, honestly.
No, Gruul. Not Gruul. Excuse me. We'll get there. Golgari kind of took a hit in Return to Ravnica.
Yeah.
Only like Dredge was so good. You could do it at any time. Is that right?
Anytime you draw a card.
Okay.
So if you say, I'm going to draw an extra card this turn, well, do you want to dredge or do you want to draw the card? You get the option.
Gotcha.
And most often you're just going to dredge.
Yeah. The other mechanic says you exile a creature card from your graveyard for its scavenge cost and put +1/+1 counters on things.
Right.
Which is, I mean, not bad, but
Yeah, it's pretty good, but it's just not... I mean,
it's not fast. It's not,
yeah,
not as competitive.
You do get a lot of graveyard interaction, obviously. That's
Yep.
sort of the point, is that you put stuff in your graveyard, but then you get to do stuff with it. So cards like Grizzly Salvage, where you get to put the top 5 in your graveyard, but you pick one up and put it in your hand, basically.
Golgari being all about, we don't waste a thing.
Yeah.
Use everything from
Yep.
down to the bones.
Yes.
They're great.
One of my favorite cards is Glissa the Trader from Golgari. Fun fact.
One of my favorites is Gerard.
Gerard's a cool one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's another fling, basically, sort of. Fling that could come back.
All right. You already mentioned it. Let's move on.
You're talking about Gruul?
Talking about Gruul.
Gruul is awesome.
Yeah, it's green-red. It's the
two
swing
stompiest
in.
stuff.
Yeah.
We should, maybe talk about the guild leaders, the latest ones. So just
maybe.
for this
I don't
one,
know
maybe.
all of the names of everything.
I
But
might remember. But the one for Gruul in particular is perfect. So I call him Bobo, but his
Yeah.
name is Borabigmos. I like because there's big in his name.
yes.
Borabigmos. He's a big cyclops that his mechanic is you sacrifice a land
Yep.
and deal damage to something. So picture throwing mountains. And that's him. He just picks up stuff and just throws it.
It's pretty awesome. The newest mechanic was Blood Rush,
Yes.
which made some very like sneaky attack plays where you could combat trick this stuff in and get buffs.
1/1.
Yeah, swing in with a 1/1 and then Blood Rush and add 3/3 to it and trample for no good reason. Just it's like amazing stuff. Very cheap combat tricks is what it really amounts to.
Yeah.
That give very large buffs.
Its first one was Bloodthirst, and if an opponent was dealt damage, whoever had Bloodthirst came in with +1/+1 counters.
Right.
So, you just see aggressive.
Right. Yeah. It was a cool combo.
Yes.
The next color combo is white blue Azorius.
Azorius. This was actually the first guild stuff I bought for Ravnica.
Okay.
Just to kind of break into it. Their mechanic in return was detain.
Detain, right, which basically locked down a creature for a turn.
Right.
Which was really, really good in some matchups, actually.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I tried to use it kind of as an aggro-esque thing,
Okay.
where I had a lot of little guys that detain stuff, and while things were detained, I'd poke in for my damage.
It's more of a tempo color.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's not super strong, but it does get some really cool things.
Yeah.
Like there are cards that detain 2 creatures instead of 1.
Right.
2 permanents.
Yeah.
It's fun. You get a lot of bounce effects too.
Yep.
In Azorius. I forgot their guild leader. I think it's the Senate. A bunch of people.
Yeah, I
Something
believe so.
boring. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a really, really cool color combo in return. I don't know if it was my favorite, but it was a good one. The next one is white black, which is Orzhov.
Orzhov. These guys.
Is this one of your favorites?
Yes, I like this one a lot. In Magic lore, you'll say the Orzhov guys are like tax collectors and bankers. They're all about like,
But they're corrupt.
absolutely. They're about like taking money from people
Yeah.
and like, oh, you gotta pay with your life now.
Yeah.
And like they like the, I don't know, just picture a corrupt banker, like a giant fat like dude smoking a cigar with like a bunch of little henchmen like Hessmen, running around like, yeah, boss.
Yeah.
They're
It was
great.
like the mafia of Magic.
Absolutely. They have such a cool mechanic. It was Extort.
Yeah,
Which is the
Extort
perfect
is
name.
Great.
And it was so confusing for me at first. I thought you could pay like as much mana as you could originally for Extort cost.
Yeah,
So like I've got 3 mana. I play a 1 mana card,
I
but
can
I
extort.
twice with my 2
Twice,
open
yeah,
mana, but
yeah.
you can't actually.
No, it's just once.
Yeah, which is, it's not great, but
It actually
it is
does
good.
work. It did really good in
Yeah.
like limited formats where you would draft this. It just because you were draining so much that you never
Right.
really were behind, even if you were behind on board.
Right.
Because you were able to extort and get a few extra damage in, even if if you have multiple extort triggers, you can do it multiple times. So it was a really, really good color combo, I would say, during that time. The original mechanic was Haunt, which I don't remember exactly what it did.
no, I'm trying to read about it because I've never played a card with Haunt.
I believe as it died, you got to haunt a creature.
Yes.
And then some effect would happen, but I don't remember what the effect was.
Yeah, it's just kind of various. Like,
Yeah.
there's a card that when you haunt something, what the creature it haunts, if it's put into the graveyard, you get more ghosts,
Yeah.
ghost tokens or whatever.
Just some buff.
Yeah.
Some sort of upside.
Yeah. Their
so-
guild leader's like a council of spirits.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Ozadot,
That's right. The Ghost Council.
the Ghost Council.
They're
Yep.
cool. Like, they own you into death is their thing.
Yeah.
Think about that.
And it made a very big splash and constructed an Esper control.
Absolutely.
It was one of the best bombs
It's
for
great,
that.
though.
It's very difficult to actually deal with. The next one is white red, which is Boros, which is
yeah.
sort of the aggro color.
Definitely. I mean, there are many aggro colors that do it a little bit differently.
Right.
Boros is a lot of the anthem effects, like, we're going to all attack together.
Yeah.
We're best friends, and we're going to go and get the bad guy.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Boros.
It was a pretty good. I mean, this was one of my least favorite, honestly.
I didn't play a ton of Boros. They did get some cool cards like Boros
yeah.
Elite.
Yeah. Frontline Medic was quite good.
That's true. Who's the Minotaur guy with the?
I do not remember.
You know, you can actually make an unlimited combo with him too
Yeah, you could.
for damage.
A very cool color, not one that had a whole lot of waves, I would say. It was very good and limited, but other than that, it wasn't too.
No, it's not awesome.
But yeah, Boris Reckoner being a great
That's
card.
it. That's what I'm thinking of. Boris Reckoner.
I got you.
Thanks,
I got
boss.
you there.
I pay attention.
The next color combo is black and blue, which is Demir.
Demir.
This is my favorite.
So, Demir are the guys that are hired by Orzhov to go beat up the people that they don't
yeah.
like. They're like assassins. They're like
Yeah.
a guild of assassins, and they're secretive and
They're all about discarding stuff.
yeah, really.
Is really what it amounts to. The original mechanic was what?
Transmute.
Transmute.
I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, that makes sense. It was basically for transmuting. You could either play the card or you could transmute it and get a card with an equal converted mana cost from your deck. So it was able to tutor stuff up.
Yep.
It was also all about discard. Like that was the idea behind the mechanic. Was you mill out your opponent.
Okay.
And so it had a lot of discard outlets, things like Pilfered Plains in return, which you draw cards, but then your opponent has to mill to.
Yeah.
Things like that. In the new, I say new, in Return to Ravnica, the mechanic was
Cipher.
Cipher. That's correct. So anytime you dealt damage, you got to copy the spell with Cipher,
Which is
if you
awesome.
ciphered it onto a creature. Yeah, it made some really interesting rogue decks.
Yeah.
There was a rogue that was an unblockable, and so you could cipher onto him your effect. There was one that milled 3 cards. There was one that reset hands. There's a few different cipher effects that you could get. So you cipher them onto the rogue, and then because he's unblockable, you get the cipher trigger.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to pay the mana cost each time.
Right,
You paid
it's
it
free.
once. So as long as you had that creature, it still worked.
Yeah, that's great.
The next one is Black Red, which was probably my favorite of Return to Ravnica, at least.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Rakdos.
Rakdos, the leader being Rakdos.
The big demon guy.
Yeah,
This
this was
was
all
pretty
about
cool.
just crazy killing everything.
Yeah.
The new mechanic was Unleash.
Oh, which was a sweet mechanic.
It was amazing.
It was great to draft. So you could have a creature come in unleashed, so they get a +1/+1 counter when they come in, but they cannot block.
Right.
So they
Which,
Tip 'em
if you're
to the
playing Rakdos, you always Unleash.
absolutely.
You don't care. You're gonna race and you're gonna win. That's
just-
the idea.
yeah.
It got things like Rakdos Cackler, which was a
Great
1/1
one-drop.
with Unleash, so you could basically play it for 2 on turn 1.
Yeah.
Or get 2 power on the board on turn 1. It also played things like what was the 2/1 haster?
Rakdos Shred Freak.
Shred Freak, correct. A
It's like-
2/1 for 2 with haste.
It's like if Mad Max were Magic cards.
Yeah.
They'd be all Rakdos cards.
And it was really cool because the story behind Rakdos was everything was sort of in this circus, like crazy hell circus.
Yeah.
Sort of a thing.
That just traveled around and killed things.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And they throw crazy parties. There's death jesters.
Yeah.
And things blow up, and there's goblins that poke you in the knees, and you love it. It's weird.
Poke you in the knee.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just come up and like pop with a knife, and
Yeah.
your knees pop. I don't know.
Yeah, this was the most fun to play, I would say, for me. just because
Probably.
it was
Okay.
just the most mindless. You just go in and attack, and it was
Yeah.
just fun. There was a deck, the Madcap Skills deck. If any of
Madcap
you
Skills is
played during that
awesome.
time, you probably know this deck. It was sort of a budget build. It was very cheap, but you
Very
were able
good.
to take FNMs like crazy. Because, well, once it got out there, not so much. But originally, when it was first sort of spoiled that this was a good deck, you know, people were taking FNMs like crazy with it because it just won so quickly.
Yeah. So Madcap Skills gives a creature +2/+0 and menace, basically.
Right.
Um,
It can't be blocked by any less than 2 creatures.
yeah. It's so cheap for 2 that.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yep.
And when it came out, when Theros was a thing and Heroic was around, pop that on a guy with Heroic and get an extra whatever.
Yep.
It's insane. It's awesome.
It also played things like Fanatic of Mogus, which could just
Yep.
deal some damage out of nowhere based on devotion
Yeah.
to red.
Yeah, drop it and blow stuff up.
Yeah, it was a very cool deck, and it definitely did its job.
Totally.
So,
Totally.
the last one we have got is probably our favorite, honestly. just color
Collectively and
combination.
in general. And I think it's the most aesthetically pleasing to look at, personally.
I like that you take that into account. But yes,
I do. It just looks beautiful.
it is red and blue. It is the Is It Guild.
Is it?
It is.
You suck.
I love this guild. It was all about casting
They're
spells and being awesome.
Yeah.
It also got electrickery.
Is its lore is like I'm gonna let that lie. Is its lore or they are the mad scientists where they're not concerned with like bioengineering things like Simic is. They just want to make like the most scientific advancement, whatever, and they don't really care the
Right.
cost. Their guild leader's a dragon too. That's pretty cool.
Niv Mizzix.
The mind something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, he was a really good card actually in limited. But yeah, it is all about just throwing spells and doing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I believe Overload was that the mechanic for
I think it was in Return. Yes.
Return?
I don't
It was
remember.
Overload, which basically, you know, the spell itself would say target creature or something like that. But if you cast it for the overload cost, it said all creatures instead of just targeting one.
Right. So the first one was Replicate.
Okay, yeah, replicate was you were able to sort of cast spells multiple times based on the replicate cost.
Yes, that's correct.
It was a very cool one.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Yeah, a very good guild. Probably one of the best in other formats other than standard.
Yeah, I would say so. Although I mean, Zoo is pretty strong. You get your
Yeah.
Gruul stuff going on.
That's true.
But then you really need like Blue Black is okay, but Esper is even better.
Yeah.
Grixis,
Yeah.
is fantastic. We might get into those later. Not
the
right.
shards, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might get into those at some point.
The
but
shards
not
and
this
cons
episode.
maybe together because they
Yeah.
have
Um,
But that's
but yeah,
that's topic for another day.
that concludes our main topic. If you liked this one,
We
leave
kind
us
of
leave us some feedback. We dragged on a bit on
we
that one,
rambled a
but
lot, but I had some fun.
It's a filler fun day, people.
Exactly.
We do this.
We do whatever we want. And let us know what your favorite guild was from Ravnica.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know where we stand on that. And
Ravnica is my favorite plane. I love variety
yeah.
and thinking about all the things differences, like making up one amalgamation.
Yep.
And that's exactly what Ravnica is. So
Yeah.
it was my favorite. I hope they print another Ravnica set.
Really?
Absolutely.
I like the original Ravnica a lot better than Return.
Well, it was way more powerful.
It was just cooler,
Right.
I thought. I actually just like the artwork even a lot better. I thought
Really?
it was better. Yeah.
Huh.
It was a little more niche, but I liked it.
Selesny's artwork in Return is beautiful.
It is.
Great.
The artwork in Return to Ravnica is great. A lot of people were either it was a polarizing set. I think a lot of people
Really?
either loved or hated it.
If you
I
hated
liked
it, tell me why.
yeah, that'd be interesting to
Because
know.
I freaking love that set
was a
so
good
much. The original Ravnica is fantastic, but
Yeah.
I had a lot of good times playing Return.
Yeah.
Because I
It's a
didn't
good
know,
set.
I didn't realize they were going to print it again. I kind of took a break-ish from Magic, and then
And
they
then,
were like, hey, we're making a Return to Ravnica, and I
yeah.
peed my pants.
And eventually they printed Electrickery. Anyway, with that out of the way, we're going to go to the Crack a Pack section to finish off this episode. We are still looking for our gold cards, mine being Gideon of the Trials, the new Gideon, the 3-drop. What is yours?
Mine is Combat Celebrant, the something drop. I forget every time. I look it up before we record and I forget.
Yeah.
I think it's a 4-drop or 4/1. Gives
Yeah.
you more combat steps. It's awesome.
It's a really cool card.
Yeah.
Both mythics, both hard to find, so hopefully we'll get it. What did you get?
That's not it. I think this card is good, but I have a few already, so I'm not super crazy about it.
Okay.
Bounty of the Luxa. 2 colorless for Simic, if you were paying attention. 2 colorless, 1 green, 1 blue. Enchantment at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase. Remove all flood counters from Bounty of the Luxa. If no counters were removed this way, put a flood counter on Bounty of the Luxa and draw a card. Otherwise, add 1 colorless, 1 green, 1 blue to your mana pool. So this is something that's always giving you things,
Yeah.
right? So either you draw a card or you get more mana, which is kind of cool because if you draw into something big you can't play, maybe on your next turn with just your lands, you get 3 extra mana to play with.
Yep.
I think it's fantastic. It's slow for 4, but that kind of makes sense for how good I think this effect is.
I think so.
I think it's a
this is
fantastic
somewhat
card.
of a build around card, but I like it.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think if you can ramp into this, just, oh man.
I'd be interested to see if this ever makes any standard play. I don't necessarily think it will, but I think it'd be kind of cool to see it. It reminds me, just because it's Simic, of Bring to Light, even though it has like not even close to the same effect.
Is it the art maybe?
The art and the color, like the Simic, guild.
Yeah.
It just feels like that.
It does. Draw a card and make mana. That's green blue. Right
Yeah.
there. Okay. What'd you get, man?
I also did not get Gideon, but I got Archfiend of Ifnir. For 3 and 2 black, it is a 5/4 demon.
Hey,
Demon tribal.
shout out.
With flying, whenever you cycle or discard another card, put a -1/-1 counter on each creature your opponents control, which is awesome. You can also cycle it for 2 to draw a card.
Yes.
I really like this card. Obviously limited bomb, but it's also
Yeah.
seems pretty good in some constructed decks to me.
I
I think there's some playability there.
Yeah, for 5, honestly, for a 5/4 flyer, 5 is not bad.
Right.
And its effect is great too if you're doing like a discard cycle deck.
Yep.
And I mean, it's great in Amonkhet
Yep.
for that, exactly.
I really like it. But with that concludes our Sunday Filler Fun Day episode. It's been a bit rambly, but we hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Leave us some feedback, subscribe or follow wherever you are watching.
Yeah.
If you enjoy the content, and if you don't, let us know why.
Absolutely.
With that, though, this has been It Resolves. My name is Kevin,
My name is Will.
and we will see you next time.